Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something that tackles three of Bitcoin's biggest headaches: scale, privacy, and just how hard it is to use sometimes. It's a project called Fedi, and honestly, it could completely change the game for how communities use Bitcoin. Let's get into it.
So this is the big one, right? The billion user question. We all know Bitcoin's design is genius, but it's also, deliberately slow and limited. So the real puzzle is, how do we get from a few million people using it today to a billion, maybe more, without totally wrecking what makes Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin? The sheer scale of that challenge is just wow.
And to really put that into perspective, check this out. Just to get a billion people onto the Lightning Network, we're talking one simple channel each. It would take at least 3 years, and that's 3 years of using up all the block space, nonstop. So yeah, it's pretty clear we need another piece to this puzzle.
So, when you boil it all down, Bitcoin is facing these three major hurdles. First, scalability. As it gets more popular, those on chain fees can get crazy expensive, right? Suddenly, using the base layer feels like a luxury. Second is usability. Look, Lightning is awesome, but for the average person, it's a lot to handle. And finally, privacy. We all know the Bitcoin blockchain is public, so it's not exactly private out of the box. All right, so let's talk about that first step, the Lightning Network. It promised so much: fast, cheap payments. But the reality of using it, well, that brings its own set of problems. Okay, so if you want to use Lightning the right way without trusting someone else, you gotta run your own node. That means having a dedicated computer that's on like 24/7. You have to juggle your payment channels, make sure you have enough liquidity. Oh, and rebalancing those channels can cost you real money. And let's not even talk about the sheer frustration of a payment failing for no obvious reason. This is just not built for, your average person. We desperately need something simpler. And this is where the story gets really, really cool. The breakthrough idea isn't some brand new invention. It actually comes from what some developers are calling pre-Bitcoin forgotten knowledge. Basically, a privacy tool from the 1980s that was way ahead of its time. And now, it's back. So this forgotten idea is called a Chaumian mint. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It's a digital bank, but with a super-powered privacy trick called a blind signature. This trick makes it completely impossible to connect the money you put in with the money you take out. The end result is simple: completely anonymous digital cash. So how does this magic trick work? It's actually genius in its simplicity. Okay, picture this. You create a digital note. Think of it like a dollar bill with a serial number only you know. You then stick it in a digital envelope. You hand that envelope over to the mint. Now here's the cool part. The mint signs the outside of the envelope, confirming its value, but it never sees the serial number inside. You get the signed envelope back, you open it, and pull out your note. It's now a valid, spendable piece of digital cash, and it's completely anonymous. The mint knows it signed a note, but it has no earthly idea it was yours. Your privacy is totally protected.
Okay, but there was one big problem with that original idea. The whole thing relied on one single central operator. You can probably see the issue there, right? If that one person or company goes down or just decides to be evil, your money is toast. That's a huge single point of failure. So, the modern solution? It gets rid of that central point and moves to a federated model.
And here's how that looks side by side. The old way: one custodian, one single point of failure, and that one person has all the control. Yikes. The new federated model: custody is shared among a group of people called guardians. This makes it way more resilient. There's no single point of failure, and this is key: no single guardian has control over the funds. It just massively cuts down on the risk. So what makes all this possible? It's something called the Fedimint protocol. You can think of it as an open source toolkit built right on top of Bitcoin that lets any group of people, any community, easily create and manage one of these federated mints. It's basically like giving them the power to run their own community bank.
And the benefits aren't just about security and privacy. They're also economic. It's huge.
Because everyone in the Federation is sharing the costs of using the Bitcoin network, the fees for each person just plummet. I mean, look at this. A $10 on-chain fee that you'd normally have to pay all by yourself. In a federation with 1,000 members, that same fee costs each person just 1 cent. That's a game changer. So what does all this do for your privacy? I love this quote from one of the developers. He said, it's like a massive ongoing coin join. And if you know what a coin join is, you know that's a big deal. The key is your anonymity set, basically the crowd you can hide in. It's not just a few other people, it's all the users of the entire mint. That is an incredible level of privacy. Okay, so let's zoom out and look at the big picture. What does this all mean for the future? Because this isn't just about fixing one little problem. It's about finding a whole new, frankly, fantastic balance of trade-offs for Bitcoin users. Let's break down this new balance. When it comes to custody, we go from having a single point of risk to mitigating that risk across a whole group. For privacy, we go from something that's hard to get right to something that's just built in and easy. For fees, this one's wild. We go from high and rising costs to a system that's actually cheaper than less private options. And for usability, we're ditching the complex expert setup for a simple mobile wallet experience. It really is a powerful combination of solutions. Okay, quick public service announcement because this is super important. You're going to hear the name Fedi, and your brain might jump to Fediverse, the network with Mastodon and all that decentralized social media stuff. Just want to be crystal clear. They sound alike, but they are totally, completely unrelated. Fedi is about Bitcoin, Fediverse is about social media. Got it? Good. So this all leads to a really powerful vision. Community banking. Seriously, think about what this unlocks. Your local town, your book club, your online gaming community, they could run their own little bank. The custody is held by members of the community that you actually know and trust. It would make payments for local businesses super easy, cheap, and private. It's kind of like taking that amazing Bitcoin Beach idea and giving it world-class privacy from the very beginning. And you get to choose who you trust. So I just want to leave you with this one final thought. What would it look like if your community could run its own bank? Powered by Bitcoin with privacy not as an afterthought, but built in from day one. That's the future this technology is trying to build. Hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown of Fedi and what it means for Bitcoin, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, share it with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed to Crypto Explorer 24/7 for more explainers just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.